Today on Public Eye News, authorities warn residents of phone scams and Schoolcraft Transit Authority receives a grant.
Brady Hinshaw tracks the upcoming winter storm and Jillian Wormlinger will have sports. Hi, I'm Mason Wallace.
And I'm Jillian Wormlinger, and this is Public Eye News. Marquette City Police are warning residents of an ongoing trend of internet and phone scam complaints in the area over the past several months. Detective Sergeant Christopher Aldrich of the Marquette City Police says most victims of these types of scams are members of the elderly community and others that might be easily taken advantage of. Scammers have been known to impersonate family members in need of emergency assistance or government agencies like the IRS, claiming they should send payment to avoid further criminal charges. Aldrich says it's best to follow this simple rule of thumb. If something seems too good to be true, it usually is. And a woman was injured Tuesday afternoon in Gwinn. Investigators say it appears there never was a suspect in the shooting. Police say based on information provided in the original call, officers took all precautions to ensure the safety of the community, including the lockdown of Gwinn High School. According to police, the woman was treated for a gunshot wound, and it is unclear at this time if anyone faces prosecution for reporting there was a suspect in the shooting.
The Schoolcraft Memorial Hospital presented the Schoolcraft Transit Authority with a $10,000 grant. The grant was expanded to include two-way transportation for any medical appointments, mental health counseling, along with addiction services in the Schoolcraft and Delta counties. Officials say this grant will work to decrease the barrier many individuals face throughout the area. The grant was given last week, and people are already starting to use the program. And the results of the Ishpeming Community Assessment were presented to the public Wednesday evening. The findings were compiled from information gathered at the Community Foundation of Marquette's first assessment back in September, with the purpose to hear what Ishpeming residents want to see in their community. The major themes of the night included the issue of blight, optimizing recreation assets, and the community marketing a unique identity. The CEO of the Community Foundation of Marquette County, Gail Anthony, said it is such a unique opportunity because the community members came up with the ideas and will also be the ones to implement them.
The Keweenaw Green Burial Alliance made a presentation in Iron Mountain Wednesday evening. They introduced dozens of Dickinson County residents to the idea of an alternative burial. They say a green burial is better for the environment and the body being buried. It skips the coffin and the embalmment process, instead using chemicals to help the body decompose into the soil. Green burials are becoming more common in the UP, with many cemeteries starting to allow it. And the Michigan Department of Natural Resources has released their weekly fishing report for the Upper Peninsula along with a new fishing tip. For Keweenaw Bay, anglers should stay off the ice. The shoreline ice is very weak and getting worse every day. For Marquette, pack ice had blown into the upper harbor, which prevented anglers from launching boats. The rivers seemed to be packing up slightly, but they were still slow overall. For Chocolate River, fishing was slow with only a couple steelhead or brown trout caught near the M28 bridge and down near the mouth. Most were floating spawn bags. For Manistee River, steelhead fishing is just getting started. Anglers reported steelhead and brown trout from the dam south of Dewey's Bass Hole and over to the Hyde Dam spillover. And stay tuned. After the break, we'll be back with your national and international news.
There were several articles written after the letters went public. And then the one that was written for the New York Times by Daniel Mendelsohn. He said, "We now have chapter 1 of the Anne Frank story. The book is chapter 2. And what we've learned about Otto Frank subsequently is chapter 3.
Tonight at 10 on Public TV 13.
Welcome back. SpaceX delayed the launch of its newest mega rocket due to dangerously high wind. The Falcon Heavy was set to blast off from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida last night with a communications satellite, but Elon Musk said the upper-level wind shear was extremely high. SpaceX now rescheduled the launch for tonight, which will be the second time a Falcon Heavy takes off. Last year's flight brought up a Tesla convertible, which is presumed to still be orbiting around the sun. The Falcon Heavy is the most powerful rocket in use today, and SpaceX plans to land 2 of the first stage boosters back at Cape Canaveral and the core booster on an ocean platform. And WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange is under arrest and facing extradition to the United States 7 years after he holed himself up inside the Ecuadorian embassy in London. The U.S. Justice Department charged him with conspiring with Chelsea Manning to break into a classified government computer. Ian Lee has the latest from London.
A bearded Julian Assange could be heard yelling, "The UK must resist," as he was dragged out of the Ecuadorian embassy in London by British police. The 47-year-old Australian had been holed up there since 2012 in an attempt to avoid extradition to Sweden on rape charges, which were eventually dropped. Officials in Ecuador say his asylum was revoked, saying it was unsustainable and no longer viable. The arrest today was initially on a British court warrant issued in 2012. Metropolitan Police in the UK later said he'd also been arrested on behalf of the United States under an extradition warrant. Assange faces charges in the U.S. for publishing tens of thousands of classified documents on his WikiLeaks site. He is also suspected of aiding Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election. Assange's lawyer issued a statement saying the UK courts will need to resolve what appears to be an unprecedented effort by the United States seeking to extradite a foreign journalist to face criminal charges for publishing truthful information. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
On Monday, a Greek marine conservation group has stated that the Aegean Sea has seen a very unusual spike in dolphin deaths over the past few weeks. The spike followed Turkey's largest ever Navy drills in the region. 15 dead dolphins washed up on the eastern island of Samos and other parts of Greece's Aegean coastline since late February. The deafening noise of sonar used by warships to detect enemy submarines can injure dolphins and whales, driving them to surface too fast or to beach themselves. NATO, to which both Turkey and Greece belong, adopted a code of conduct for using sonar to better protect marine mammals. Head of Research Anastasia Milou states the alliance's rules are respected by the U.S. Navy and the Greek Navy, but said it was unclear whether Turkey has implemented the guidelines. And pressure from Congress appears to be spurring the pharmaceutical industry to lower prescription drug prices for some patients. One of the main producers of insulin, Sanofi, said yesterday it will cap the cost of the life-saving drug for diabetics. Some could save thousands of dollars a year. The move came as lawmakers pressed pharmaceutical executives about the skyrocketing price of insulin. Anna Werner shows us the fight to curb costs.
I cannot live without this drug. Cannot live without it.
Rob Howe is one of more than 7 million Americans who depend on insulin to keep their blood sugar at safe levels. The 30-year-old says he spends close to $600 on monthly doses and supplies after insurance.
If I didn't have insurance, it would be closer to $2,500, $3,000 a month.
2 years ago, Howe made a career change he knew would leave him without insurance, so he stockpiled nearly 6 months' worth of insulin to protect himself.
I almost didn't make it. A guardian angel reached out, a person I didn't know, and gave me about a month's worth of insulin to bridge the gap and really saved me when I needed it most.
Congressional lawmakers from both parties grilled pharmaceutical executives, including those from top insulin makers.
If you think you can, just out-talk us without any transparency, without any accountability, I just want you to know your days are numbered.
One recent study says the cost of insulin in the U.S. has nearly doubled in over 5 years, from about $2,800 annually in 2012 to roughly $5,700 in 2016. Prices have gotten so high, another study says 1 in 4 people with diabetes admitted to using less insulin than prescribed. The executives agreed patients should not have to struggle to afford medication, but blamed rising prices on a broken healthcare system.
Current system's not working. We agree 100%. That is the heart of the issue.
Howe says the system needs to be fixed to make insulin affordable for everyone.
Diabetes is a big deal. It's either buy insulin and pay what these drug companies and pharma companies are charging, or die.
And stay tuned. After this break, we'll have your weather and sports.
We are go at this time.
Ignition sequence start.
10, 9,
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition.
we have liftoff.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Friday night at 10:30 on Public TV 13.
Hi and welcome back. Behind me on this beautiful NMU campus, it is still sunshiny with some clouds and some blue sky. But looking at our current conditions, we have some cloudy skies with a temperature of 32 degrees, winds out of the east at 14 miles an hour, and a barometric pressure of 30.21 and falling. Looking at tonight, we have a snow-rain mix with a low of 29 and winds out of the east at 20 miles an hour. Looking at tomorrow, we have morning rain showers with a high of 43 degrees and winds out the south at 20 miles an hour. Looking at our beautiful UP, we have mostly cloudy and 33 in Sault Ste. Marie, 32 and cloudy in Manistee, 31 and cloudy in Escanaba, 30 and snowy in Menominee. Looking at our western half, we have 29 snowy in Iron Mountain, as well as in Ironwood, 30 and cloudy in Houghton, and 32 and cloudy in Marquette. Looking at our week ahead, Saturday we have a high of 38 and a low of 28 and cloudy. Sunday a high of 38 and a low of 32 and cloudy. And Monday we have a high of 40 and a low of 31 and partly cloudy. Well, Jillian, the weather doesn't say golf season, but the calendar sure does.
You're right, Brady. They're absolutely hitting the grass. Junior Caro Els was named to the all-tournament team as she led the Northern Michigan University women's golf team at the NC4K College Classic in Black Lake, Ohio on Monday and Tuesday. NMU finished in 4th place among 19 teams at the NC4K event with a 2-day score of 633, just 3 strokes behind 3rd place Ohio Dominicans 630 and the best score among a half dozen current GLIAC schools. Indianapolis won the event with 599, while Findlay was runner-up with 608. Trailing the Wildcats were Tiffin in 5th with 637, Northwood 6th with 641, and Ferris State 7th with 645. Northern freshman Abigail Boozer tied for 40th with 76 to 86, while senior teammate Bailey Dunmere was 98th with 92 to 103 to 195. And fans can use the convenience of the internet, save money, and help a fund associated with the Superior Health Foundation all at the same time with purchases of tickets for the upcoming exhibition of the Harlem Globetrotters in Marquette. Their appearance takes place at 7 p.m. on Friday, April 19th at Northern Michigan University's Berry Events Center. The foundation's Breast Health Fund will receive the portion of online ticket sales, while families can save money by entering the promotional code Superior Health after selecting seats. The SHF's Breast Health Fund provides philanthropic funding to help Upper Peninsula men and women with out-of-pocket expenses related to breast health. For more information, please check out NMU's ticket sales on their website. And unfortunately, that's all the time we have for you today. Thank you for joining us in today's edition of Public Eye News, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television.